Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Thank you for tuning into another video. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. So, in today's video, I want to talk about the daily drivability of my 2019 Mustang GT. Though I've had my 2019 Mustang GT with the 10-speed transmission for only about a year and a half, I used to have a 2006 Mustang GT as well that I used to daily drive. So I feel like I have about close to 5 years of experience daily driving a Mustang. And you can see I'm not afraid to daily drive this thing with all the snow covered right here. Now I know most people would use their Mustang GTs or any Mustangs really as a summer daily driver or just a weekend car, which I guess nothing is wrong with that, but to me, Mustang GT is not all that special where you want to keep the miles off of the car. So if you can daily drive it without any inconveniences, why wouldn't you? If you're paying for a car, I feel like you just might as well use it, unless it's a Shelby or a Corvette Z06 or some kind of special car that you want to keep the miles off of it and only put miles that you're really going to enjoy, such as on the weekend or maybe autocross or track miles, kind of like that. And I feel like Mustang offers a lot of that daily drivability components that you can kind of make do. Obviously, it's not going to be as comfortable as your normal sedan would be, but this is, I feel like, a very nice balance in terms of daily drivability and also having fun with this car. And you may have a need where you can maybe just get one car, or you have other needs and you don't want to compromise on having a nice sedan and just not a, like an older muscle car or something. So you want to get the best of what you can get and you want to daily drive that thing. Having said all of that, I just want to give you my personal opinion on my 2019 Mustang GT's daily drivability. I guess it applies to all sorts of Mustangs, but specifically I'm looking at the S550 Mustang generation. I'm going to be looking at the practicality and comfort, the driving in inclement weather. As you can see here, I did drive up here, and obviously once you rack up those miles, the cost to run for this car. So let's go dive right into the video. Now first up, let's talk about the practicality and comfort. First thing that you would notice, at least I noticed coming from an S197 Mustang GT to S550 Mustang GT, is the welcome addition of the independent rear suspension. The suspension is so comfortable. Well, I wouldn't say so comfortable, but it's very comfortable compared to the car you're driving. You're gonna obviously notice some of the bumps and stuff, but the harshness that used to be there with the live rear axle suspension is just not there. For that one, if I got on a bump, the whole car would shake and would just, if you're driving in a city where like not so good roads, you're gonna have a terrible time. This one handles just fine, especially if you're on the highway, just cruising around, couple bumps, nothing to worry about. Obviously it's gonna be a little bit stiff than your normal sedan, but it's not all that bad. Now, if you were considering the Performance Pack 2 or Performance Pack 1 Mustang, I would be careful because they come with summer tires, which means you can't really operate them under 40-degree weather. And obviously with their suspension tuning, it can be a little bit too much for your daily driver. So if you're going to be looking for those kind of cars, I would at least definitely swap out the tires and maybe watch out for how stiff they can get. I've driven a Performance Pack 1 Mustang, and I can tell you that the difference is pretty up there. You can definitely notice a lot more bumps on the road and just a lot more harsh ride than you'll find with just a normal Mustang GT. Now obviously the good thing is that Ford does offer the MagneRide suspension. So if you're looking for a Performance Pack 1 or 2 Mustang, if you offer the MagneRide, I think you're going to be a lot better off by just maybe swapping out the tires during the winter times. So make sure you're not running your summer tires. But if you got the MagneRide, adjust the suspension based on the road that it's on, and I think it's going to be very much doable. Not perfect, but doable. Now obviously if you're going to be daily driving this car, you're going to be spending most of your time in these seats, and I have to say that these seats are by far the most comfortable seats I've come across. They've got really nice bolstering here to hold you tight, and for long trips, I've taken multiple long trips in this car, and it just doesn't fatigue you. It's really amazing how these seats have gone compared to this 197 Mustang actually, which I felt like a little bit rough. They come with all the basic controls as you would expect them to be, and the nice thing is if you're getting the premium package, they're also heated and ventilated. So it's really good in terms of daily driving and having heated seats, heated steering wheel, and all that stuff. Which reminds me that the interior features pretty much got it all that you would expect out of a daily driver. So obviously, like I mentioned, the seats are very comfortable. You've got the heated steering wheel, Apple CarPlay for all your music needs, GPS needs. And overall, the interior layout, I feel like it's very simplistic and user-friendly. It's nothing too complicated that you wouldn't want to mess with on your daily driver. and it's not as low as you would kind of expect it to be. So if you have ever driven a Corvette or any of those low sports car, it's very hard to get in and out. But with Mustang, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's not as comfortable as a sedan, but you're coming in and out, it's not too bad. And I really like these bucket seats, like I mentioned. So it kind of holds you in. When you come out, the rear seats kind of slide back, give you a lot more room to come out of the car. Now obviously coming up to the snow driving, so now I want to discuss the driving in inclement weather. So if you it kind of depends on your area. If you're going to be getting snow about 1 or 2 inches here and there, kind of like where I am, we don't really get much snow here. You occasionally get like 4 or 6 inches of snow, but normally it's like about an inch or so. So you can pretty much drive it. I daily drive this thing. I try to avoid it, but it's doable if I really wanted to. Now obviously my car has all-season tires, so if you really want to make sure that you're going to be getting snow and you want to drive in the snow, I would suggest obviously opting for the snow tires to gain a little bit more traction. Now, as mentioned earlier, if you do have a Performance Pack 1, Performance Pack 2 car, they come with summer tire. You do not want to be driving in the snow or very freezing temperature in those summer tires, because they're going to freeze up and they become really stiff, and there's a chance of them just bursting open, causing you a lot bigger issue than you would spend on snow tires. Now, like I said, if you don't receive too much snow in your area, and maybe you don't want to shell out enough money for these snow tires, what you could do actually is get sandbags. You can go to Home Depot, pick them up for about $5 a bag. For 50 pounds. So you can get 3 of those bags. I did that on my S197 Mustang with the 2006 Mustang GT because I had an incident with that. So I was like, I don't want to take a risk. And even though I had all season tires there, but I did go ahead and bought 3 sandbags, put them in the trunk of the car, and it worked out really great. I mean, the car feels a lot heavier obviously, but that's the whole point. You get a lot more weight on top of your rear axle. Now, as far as rain is concerned, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Obviously, just apply the normal things that you would do in the rain in any other car. So just kind of apply gentle throttle when you're turning around. Don't be one of those Mustang guys and just floor it. You're definitely gonna lose control and become that Mustang meme. So obviously with rain, you shouldn't be worrying about too much. It does have a snow and wet mode. What that does is limit your throttle a lot. So the car feels like very sluggish, but in a good way, because if you're in rain or snow, you want to apply the throttle gently and not slam on that. Now, obviously, if you're racking up the miles because you love your Mustang so much, you're gonna be going through those miles real quick and hitting the service intervals a lot quicker than you anticipated, which also means there's gonna be a lot more wear and tear items on your car. Now, if you were to service this car from the dealership, which I do currently, it's actually not too bad. The oil change costs about $100 for 10 quarts of oil. It's a synthetic blend. I could switch to synthetic for about $130, I feel like that's what he said. You could obviously choose to go to an indie mechanic or do it yourself for about $80, $90. Do keep in mind this car just does take about 10 quarts of oil, so it does get a little bit pricey out there. And with a lot of miles, obviously you're gonna be going through the tires a lot quicker. These are factory tires on my car. I've got about 16,000 miles on this car. And I mean, just looking at the thread here, I don't know if you can really tell from here. I would say it's got about at least 15,000 more miles left or so, so it's 30,000 life, I would say, which in my opinion is like pretty. I do plan on changing the tires on this car once I hit 30,000 miles or so. So once I change that, I plan on going wider tires, probably 305. So that's gonna reduce the lifetime of the tires a little bit more, but you gotta pay to play, you know? So if you just wanna daily drive it and not worry about that thing, then you can just keep the stock size tires, which is 255. They'll run you about $150 per tire or so. So about $600 in tires or so. Obviously add up the alignment, so $700, $800, which is not too bad for a performance car with a 460 horsepower engine. Now, one thing I really love about Mustangs is that a lot of parts are actually shared with Ford, which means the parts cost and labor itself, like it's not a complex engine structure. The parts cost and labor is very low compared to like German cars or anything like that. So not only you don't have much of a reliability issues, because I've seen these cars on AutoTrader, Cars.com, were well over 100,000 miles with no issues. I used to have a 2006 Mustang GT that I took it to about 153,000 miles. And I had nothing. All I did was oil change, and that's pretty much it. I just changed the brake pads. I did get the car like around 100,000 miles, but running at 50,000 miles and having no issues kind of makes me feel a little bit comfortable driving this thing to well above 100,000 miles. Since parts and labor are just so cheap, it makes you not want to be hesitant to daily drive this thing, because if you know something breaks, it's not going to cost you a fortune. Whereas if you had maybe, I don't know, BMW M4 or something like that, you could still apply all of these things and daily drive that thing. But obviously the cost of some of the repairs and maintenance nightmares that those cars have, you're always just worrying about racking up those miles. What if something breaks and it's going to cost me like $4,000 to fix it? Here, not so much. Well guys, there you have it. My opinion on daily driving the Mustang GT or the Mustangs in general. Obviously mine is a 2019, but this tip applies for pretty much all Mustangs, specifically S550 Mustangs because of the independent rear suspension. So obviously in my opinion, it's all not too bad to daily drive this car. Is very comfortable, very practical actually. The storage and everything is there. Trunk space is a lot actually. In terms of running in the snow, rain, unless you're getting a lot of snow, you should be able to make do with snow tires. But obviously if you're living in the Midwest, for example, I could definitely see not being able to daily drive this thing. And obviously the cost to own is very minimal compared to cars of this caliber in terms of performance. So I personally would not hesitate to daily drive this car. So I encourage you guys to daily drive this car. In the end, it's just a Mustang GT. It's not going up in value. It's just run-of-the-mill Mustang GT. So there's no point in keeping the miles off of the car unless obviously you're planning on a big power build or something like that. Then I can kind of understand where you're coming from or tracking the cars frequently. But you paid for this thing, right? So might as well enjoy it. Enjoy the heck out of it. So have fun daily driving your Mustang. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to Red 50 for more videos. Thank you.